Welcome to another lesson of Advanced Microsoft Excel lesson. Okay, so this lesson is all about macros. Okay, so how does macros work in Microsoft Excel, and what does macros even do in Microsoft Excel? Well, it's an advanced categorized lesson from Microsoft Excel, and it's also termed with VBA sometimes, which is Visual Basics for Application. Okay, so what is this macro? So what a macro does is that it copies all of your works, or all of, even let's say you're doing a formula and maybe some other formatting. Well, it's gonna copy all of the works which you're gonna do and then put it in the next or wherever you want to paste it without even doing the formulas and doing all of the work. Okay, so what is this macro recorder in just words? Okay, so you might see macro recorder is or maybe like used like in a lot of softwares, but in Excel it does its work. Okay, and how does it work? As we know that computers, or even let's say Excel, it understands codes or commands which it's like programmed on. So it just receives a lot of codes and then gives us a human language result. Okay, so in the code group on the developer tab right over here, click record macro. Okay, which you can see right here, which I've shown you. Okay, this is the macro recorder, and you can also see it's just beside Visual Basics. And so let me first tell you that when you open up Excel, you might not find this developer tab. You might search it from here, what like macro, but you might not like find it. So if you want to find it, what you have to do first is go to File, go to Options, and from there go to Customize Ribbons, and then click on this developer. Okay, it will be like unclicked or unused, so click on it, mark on it, and then just press OK, and the developer tab will be opened. Well, I already had my open, so that is how you can open up developer tab. So from there, let me show you how the VBA works actually, or VBA and macro works. Equal, let's say sum. Okay, let's say all of these, close the parentheses, hit enter, and you can see that this is quite done. Okay, these are all the summations of all these cells. Now I'm not gonna copy anything, but I'm gonna go to like second sheet, and what I'm gonna do here is just press a code. Okay, and you can see that the results has been done. Now let's say delete all of these. What I'm gonna do here is change the number, let's say 13. Okay, but I'm gonna do this, let's say, let's use the macro, run it, and you can see that the number has been changed. And if I even like change the number from here, let's say 650, my bad, let's say 40, and you will see that the number will change again and again, but I don't have to use the formula over and over again. Even if it's like a different type of data, it will just use up that, just the process, and then change your data according to that. Okay, but you don't have to do the same process again and again. And I can see this is 202, and for this 13 it's 137. Okay, now you might ask, like, how did I do that? How did I not do the process and the formula, but I still got the results? Well, that is the work of macro recorder, or the macros. Okay, so macro is just a type of a software helping a tool which copies all of the formats and all of the work process which you do, and then gives you the exact same type of result which you want. Not even the exact, but the same type of process, even if the values are different, but it's gonna do you the work all on its own. And you will also see that how it is related to Visual Basic. Okay, so let's say okay, before going into that, we're going to show you how you can record a macro. So before you want to record a macro, what you have to do is have your developer tab on, and now you can see in the code section there's record macro and the macros, which I've shown you previously. just a while ago that I went to macros and then just pressed on run. Now what I'm gonna do is just let's delete this, okay? So now as I've deleted it, and now you can see that there are no macros left. And even if I used some of the, like let's say control V, and it's not going to do anything because there are nothing copied. But if I had the macro, it will do the work on its own. Now I'll show you how you can record a macro. So if you want to record a macro, just go to code and then select on record macro. Click on with your left mouse key and you will see that an interface like this will open up. Now you can name a macro. Let's say I'm gonna change the colors and also change the font. So I'm gonna do this color and make sure that there are no spaces, because spaces are not like eligible in this record macro. What you have to do is put an underscore, color, and font. Let's say color and font. And now you can apply the shortcut key even if you don't want to use the macro from here by clicking on it, but you can also do it by using a shortcut key, which is control. You can also add shift, which you do most. And remember one thing, that don't use any shortcut key that has already a command in it. If it, or let's say control plus C is copy. Now if I use control plus C, you will see that your copy might not work in a shortcut way and it will be unbinded, but you can only use the macro, okay? But if like after when you're done, you can just like delete the macro and then your copy shortcut key will start working again. Okay, keep that in mind. So I'm not going to use C as I don't have any commands in control plus J, so I'm going to use control plus J. Okay, now what you have here is store macro in, so it's telling you where you want to store your macro. Now when you click on it, you will see that there are three options. Okay, so this is personal macro workbook. If you use this, only you will be able to use the macro. So another thing is that you can also save a macro and then send this whole Excel sheet to another person via online or maybe via wherever you want to send, and that person will also be able to use the macro. So when you use personal macro only on your PC and only on your sheet, you will be able to use the macro and none other will be able to use it. Now we see is new workbook. So the macro will be only saved in a new workbook, not on the present one, but the new workbook. Okay, so you might be able to use it once or maybe sometimes and then it will just get discarded on its own. When you open a new workbook, you will not see the macro anymore. Okay, and here is this workbook. When you click on this workbook or select this workbook, you can also send it to other people, and the other people or whoever is going to edit it for you, or maybe let's say add more data, that person will also be able to use the macro which you recorded. Okay, he just needs to have the same type of Microsoft Excel or maybe above just to use the macro. Okay, but keep that in mind, that always stay updated on the Microsoft whatever software you're using, because new ones contain a lot of tools which you will like using and which will reduce a lot of work. Okay, now I clicked on this workbook for now because maybe I can, like, even if I want to send it to other people, just select on this and the other people will also be able to use it even if that person is around the globe or wherever he or she is. So let's say personal macro workbook because I'm not going to send it to anyone, and you can also add in descriptions. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just press OK. When you press OK, you will see that it's already recording and your macro is gonna like start recording it. Okay, it's gonna start scripting all of the codes which you try to enter. And why is it codes? Because computer only understands codes, okay, which is in binary. So now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna select this, let's say control plus A. Let's select all of this. As I said, color and font, so I'm gonna go to home and I'm gonna like change the color. Okay, so let's say I'm gonna change, okay, this one, let's say this one. Okay, now as the color has been changed, now I'm gonna change the font for every of them. So I'm gonna go here and then select any of the font which I want. Let's say this one. Okay, now you will see that you will see the developer is still like on this code, it's still recording. So now you will see that it's already recorded. I'm gonna stop recording it. And now when you go to macro and you can see personal Excel SB, color and font. Okay, when you run it you will be able to do it. So I'm gonna go to 1 again. Now I'm gonna cut it now I'm just gonna go to 1, and you will see that in 1 it's not like, you will see that it's not done anything. Okay, 2 is this one, 1 is this one. Now I'm not gonna like copy it and then just do the work again, because I already recorded a macro, and that's the benefit of using a macro, even if it's like a couple and tons of formulas. Okay, so I'm gonna make it a bit bigger because it's not fitting, so I'm gonna align it a bit, make it a bit better looking. Now what I'm gonna do here is go to 1, and I can just press Control plus J and it will just paste the whole process. Let's see. And now you can see that 1 has been changed. Now another thing which you have to keep in mind, that when you apply a macro you will not be able to undo it. So I used Control plus J from right here. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is just copy this, and I'm gonna, my bad, I'm not gonna do that, but I'm gonna copy this, Control C, I'm gonna go to 3. Okay, sheet 3, I'm gonna go here and Control V. My bad, I'm just gonna keep it in not formulas but just in values. Okay, and now you can see that there is nothing here, no formats, but I'm gonna use the same thing what I did back there, so I'm gonna do it. My bad, undo it. As I've told you, you cannot undo a macro. So I'm going to do it by using this one now. I'm going to go to macros, select on it whichever macro you have. You can also save a tons of macros here. You don't have to worry about it. As I've selected the area, now I'm going to do is just run it. And now you can see that the formatting has been done and you can't undo it. So that is what macro actually does and helps you in a lot of ways. Now if I want to send it to another person, that person will not be able to use the macro when he goes to developer and then clicks on macro. But if you select this workbook, the whole workbook, which or even if you don't know what a workbook is, so a workbook is the whole sheet or the whole document. Let's say when you open a PowerPoint, it opens up like a PowerPoint presentation, right? In Word it does a document, and in Excel it does a worksheet or a workbook. Okay, so it's gonna save the whole workbook and also gonna save the macros so other people can also use it. And the last thing what I'm going to show you is that how is it correlated to Visual Basics. Now if I go to Visual Basics, just click on it and just press Alt F11. I'm going to click on it and you can see that VBA opens up. And in VBA you will see in modules, you can see that there is this folder called modules. When you click on it, module 1, okay, not this one, but it was saved here. So I'm gonna click on it and then go to VBA, this module. My bad, I think I deleted it because there are no macros. Okay, this is a personal one, so it's not showing, but if it was not a personal one, it will already show that what type of modification has been done on the sheet. Okay, and you can see in sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, let's say sheet 3, and this workbook. Okay, you will see all of the information which you have here. And let's do another macro, okay, for another practice. So I'm gonna do right here is just copy the same thing what I had right here. I'm gonna copy it, and then I'm gonna make another sheet. I'm just gonna paste it right over here, but I'm not gonna keep it formatted. So I'm gonna do is keep just values. So what I'm gonna do here is again do the same process. I'm gonna just click on record macro. Click on record macro. I'm gonna do is let's say Control K this time, and now I'm gonna name it font bold italic. And now what I'm gonna do here is click on this workbook, and now now I'm gonna do is, as you can see, it's already recording a macro. Now what I'm gonna do here is what I said. I'm gonna do the font first, let's say Forte, and then I'm gonna change the font size a bit. Okay, I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. Now what I'm gonna do is change the color a bit. I'm gonna add in borders too. And now what I'm gonna do is change the numbers. Okay, and now you can see it's not being applied. So what I just did here is just recorded a macro. That's it, right? So I'm gonna do right here is delete all of them. Now I'm gonna put in the same formula or different formula, whichever type of formula you want. Now I'm gonna do is just sum, which is just basic. I'm gonna select all of them, close parentheses, hit enter, and you can see that this formula has been applied and you also got the result. And now it's done. Now what I'm gonna do here is just stop recording. And now you can go to macro and you can see font, bold, italic. Well, I forgot to do bold and italic, but this font works, right? So I'm gonna do here is copy this one again, Control C, sheet 2, Control this one. And I'm gonna do the same thing again. Now what I'm gonna do here is, which was Control plus K, or maybe go to macros and then select the one which you recorded. This one was font, bold, italic. So I'm gonna do here is just press Control plus K. Well, I suggest you use more shortcut keys because that saves a lot of time than just going to macros and then selecting and then pressing OK. So I'm gonna Control plus K, and now you can see that all of them is done. I'm gonna undo it, or maybe like, okay, this has not been applied on the same like selection or area, so I'm gonna do is just Control Z, but you can see that undo does not work. So that is how it's gonna work, or it just I forgot to select the cell, so I'm gonna do it again. It was on third, right? I'm gonna copy this, go to sheet, another sheet, which it was third, so I'm gonna go to third here. What I'm gonna do right here is change the whole thing and then do the same thing. And okay, let's say I changed all of it, okay? But I'm gonna do is just press Control plus K, okay? And it will just do the same thing. Let's change the values too. And now you can see that the values are being changed. But what I'm gonna do here is select it, Control plus K, and now you can see that all of the formatting has been done right over here without even doing all of them like individually. So this is how you can record a macro and then make your work a lot easier than you do every day, and so it just saves up a lot of time and a lot of labor. So hope you understood everything, and thank you for watching this video.